maybe don't like what the government is doing. And so they will make signs and they will gather as a group. The protesters will gather maybe outside of a government building, and they'll have their signs and they'll yell things like, taxes are too high. I was trying to think of another one, but there are many things that you can protest. And if you are part of a group that is protesting, we would call you a protester. So here we have a whole bunch of protesters. They are in the act of protesting. They are very upset about something. I don't know what it is. The far sign says STEM. Maybe they don't like plants. That's just a little joke. I don't know what they're upset about. A union. So if you work at a factory, if you work in an organization where the workers have united so that when they negotiate with their employer, they have more power, we call that a union. Some people are in a union and some people aren't. In Canada, if you work at a steel factory, you will probably be in the Steelworkers Union. If you are a carpenter in Toronto, you are probably part of the Carpenters Union. So a union is when workers join together so that they're not all individuals. So groups always have more power than an individual person. And so sometimes people at a place of work will unionize. They will join together as a union in order to be able to do things together, like especially to negotiate working conditions and wages. These are not words, but these are things we say. This is kind of a hard one to explain. You will understand the meaning. The other day, I had a car full of kids. I went on a field trip, so I had a car full of kids. I had a van full of kids. But these words, if you look them up, they don't actually exist. They're just a very informal way of saying that every seat in your vehicle has a person in it. So you might say, oh, I had to drive my kids to school and I had to drive my neighbor's kids to school. I had a car full of kids this morning. Or the other day, I went to pick up my kids and all of their friends wanted to come to our house. So I had a whole van full of kids. So again, these aren't really words, but they are words. So they aren't words in the sense that if you look them up, they will be in some dictionaries, but they're not official English words. Carful and vanful. Club. So a club refers to a group of people who all have the same interest. You might be in a bird watching club. You might be in a chess club. You might be in an archery club. By the way, I didn't join one, but I would like to. You might be in a nature club. So a club refers to a group of people who all share the same interest in something. Right now, actually not this spring, but sometimes Jen is asked to make a presentation at a gardening club. A gardening club would be a group of people who all enjoy gardening and they get together once a month or every other week to talk about that. So a chess club would meet regularly and it would be a group of people who all like to play chess. They would get together to play chess. An audience, I think this one is familiar to you, but I did want to talk about the difference between spectators, a crowd, and an audience. So an audience is anyone watching something on a stage or on a screen. So we wouldn't use this to talk about a football game. You wouldn't say there was a large audience at the football game. In fact, I broke my own rule there by saying something out loud that we don't normally say in English. You would say, how big was the audience at the play? Were there a lot of people in the theater? Yeah, it was a huge audience for the movie. So an audience is for anything like a play. If you're watching dancers, if you go to a magic show, if you're watching a movie, we would call you the audience, the group of people who are watching what is happening. A more general term would be crowd. So was there a pretty big crowd oh, you went to the new movie. Was it a pretty big crowd? And you would say, yeah, there was actually, the theater was quite full. It was a big crowd. So a more general term. And then spectator or fans are the words we use to talk about the group of people who watch a sports game. So when I go and watch the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm a spectator. I could also use the word fan, okay? So there are spectators in this stadium. There are fans in this stadium watching this game and hopefully enjoying it. Crew. So crew is used in a lot of ways. You can use crew to talk about this type of group. This is a group of people doing physical labor. So at work, I might be on a team, but as a teacher, I would never be on a crew. But if I was fixing roads or building houses or any of that physical labor, I might be on a crew. So this is a road crew, and they are here to fix the road. You could also use the word crew to talk about the people who are on a ship or even an airplane or even a spaceship. They are the people who make the boat go, the people who steer the boat, the people who load the boat and empty the boat. They work on the boat. So this is the crew of this ship, and this is a crew working on the road. And again, just to clarify, a crew is usually a group of people doing physical labor, like they're shoveling, they're digging, they're cutting. It wouldn't be used to talk about people at a job where you're just pushing paper like I do. So here is a crew working on the road, a crew on a ship. So this word has two pronunciations, and I say clique. Some people say click. This is a group of people, usually teenagers, who are friends, but it usually implies that they don't allow other people to be part of the group. Cliques, I'm going to use the word clique. You can say clique if that's how you want to learn it. Cliques are by nature a little bit rude. You know, your high school experience might be that there was a clique of guys who were friends and they didn't want anyone else to be friends with them. There was a clique of girls and they were just kind of rude. They wouldn't let other people join them. And then we also have the word cliquey, like they're acting very cliquey. Like if 5 teachers always went for a walk at lunch together, we would say, oh, they're being a little bit cliquey because they're choosing to be their own little group. So I guess you can use it for adults as well. Class. So this is probably a familiar one as well. Class is used to refer to a group of people who are learning. It's used to refer to a group of students. So when you have a classroom full of students or a class full of students, we call them a class. So when I go to school today, I have to teach 2 classes. I have a class of computer students and I have a class of French students. So each group is there to learn that subject, and I refer to them as my class. So this is my class of computer students. This is my class of French students. A band. So a band is a group of people who get together to play instruments and to sing. If they're good, they also write songs, and they will then sing their own songs. A cover band sings other people's songs, but a band hopefully has their own songs. This is the Police. This is the band I'm currently listening to as I journey through re-listening to the songs of my youth. If you recognize any of them, you'll probably recognize Sting in the middle. And on the far side is Andy Summers, and this is Stuart Copeland. They wrote some pretty good songs. It's been my playlist for a few weeks now, and I am very much enjoying it. So a band is a group of people who play instruments and sing. A band can also just play instruments. They don't have to sing, but the general definition would be they play instruments and sing songs.